Well, hello YouTube. So I'm jumping on the vlog train purely because I've got a lot of stuff going on in my personal life, which you're more than aware of if you follow us on TikTok. And I just need some sort of diary to keep events of what's going on in order to keep myself and my head straight. And just to let it out, really. Kids are at school, Maz is at work, I'm here on my own, and for the first time in a long time, I'm really calm. So yeah, I want to talk through what's gone on in the last, has it only been 2 or 3 weeks? So I'm going to get a cuppa and I'm going to get comfortable and we're going to go. So if you're one of my loyal followers, you know that I do what you call a shit sandwich. I'll start off with the good. I'll put something really hard hitting and real in the middle, and then I'll end on a high. It's just a technique that I've always used. I was made aware of it through my ex-partner who was a police officer. And it's just the way that I do things, the way that I do life. I start on a positive and then I end on a positive. So every morning I'll try and start on a positive once I'm awake. I'll deal with all the shit of the day, and then on a night time I'll go through all the positive things, me and the kids, of what's happened. Just so every day's got a good thing, and I want every vlog to be the same. So I'm going to get into the nitty gritty. I reported a certain gentleman on the TikTok app to Hampshire Police on the 9th of September for stalking and harassing me. This has been going on for a period of time behind the scenes. And during this time, there's been peaks and troughs of their attention brought to both myself and my partner and my children by this gentleman. That's a very kind word for him. And it got to the point on the 9th of September where I was starting to seriously fear for my safety, more so my children's safety, and feel unsafe in the home where I live. So what had happened was, this guy had gone on TikTok. He had about 200-300 people in his live, and he'd said that I was a sex offender, and that he encouraged everybody within that life to take my pictures, my photos, my videos, post them in their local Facebook swaps and sales pages, saying that I was a sex offender to find out who I am and where in the country I am. Now that's dangerous, firstly, and an outright lie. So for those of you who know me in real life, if you want to comment on the video and just say, I know you in real life, or I've known you in real life, or I know about you, please don't give any details as to where I am or what I do. I'd appreciate that. But for those who do know, they know that that's not who I am or what I'm about. So I'll do a bit of a backstory just to put some rumours to rest. I was a foster carer for 10 years. I had IVF with donor sperm, to have 2 beautiful children. To do both of those things, you've got to go through some really stringent tests. So not only did I have to have counselling and pre-counselling and counselling along the way for my IVF, to become a foster carer, you have to do something called a Form F, where basically they go through your whole backlog and your whole life history. And I had all that done, and I was a foster carer for a very, very long time, and I loved my job. And it just turns out that it was politics and procedure towards the end, and I couldn't do it anymore. Would I still foster now? No, definitely not. Purely because things are so much different now to how it was 10 years ago when I first started. So when I first started 10 years ago, well, no, it's longer than that now. When I first started in 2009, it was a very different system. I was very young and I wasn't even a parent myself. And I provided safe environments with positive outcomes for so many children. So much so that some of my ex-foster children are actually in my TikTok lives and speaking to us and reaching out to us and saying that they miss us, telling us about their lives. And that is amazing to see the people that I look after and cared for grown up and functioning, happy, stable, young adults is phenomenal. But none of them have come forward and said, oh, this is who she is and this is where she lives, which speaks volumes, but they are in there and they do talk to us. So like I say, I had to have all those tests, those checks, DBS, and your DBS is repeated throughout your career as a foster carer as well, obviously, to safeguard children. I did safeguarding courses, which is what the police do, the fire do, ambulance service do. I did the same courses as them. I was trained in how to safeguard children and vulnerable adults. And it opened up my eyes to a world which is beyond belief. And that's why, in saying what I'm about to say, I believe that at least 2 of the people who are banging the chops about us now are very, very vulnerable adults, and in need of safeguarding themselves, so much so that they shouldn't be allowed to be on platforms like this and TikTok and Facebook, because they're a danger not only to themselves but to strangers. I don't think they understand the repercussions of what's coming out of their mouths or the threats that they make. Gemma, who's on parole till 2026. I mean, the threats and the subtle direct threats of violence and accusations and the alarm and harassment that is causing to me would be enough for your parole to be revoked, because you are sentenced for a violent crime and you're making subtle threats of violence to me. This is aimed directly at you, Gem. I do think you are very, very vulnerable, easily manipulated, and have jumped on the wrong bandwagon. And that's the only reason I've not got in touch with parole. I think you need to go out and you need to seek help from your support system around you, which I know that you've got. And reach out and explain to them exactly what is going on. But there is a file of evidence ready to go if that behaviour is to continue towards myself and put my family or myself in danger, because what you are saying and the way you're conducting and behaving yourself could have massive repercussions. If I was still a foster carer, I would never have been on the TikTok app, because it's not a way you conduct yourself. You don't put yourself out there for open criticism. You don't be the voice of innocent children, and you don't stand up and shout and make a noise. You sit back and you watch, because you're representing a whole authority, not just yourself and your opinions and your views. As a foster carer, you've got to handle yourself differently. And that's why I am there now, because I'm not a foster carer anymore. And I can say things, that I can have opinions, and I can stand up and I can shout out and call these people out for what they are. Because I don't spread misinformation. If something is my opinion, I will say, in my opinion, I believe this. I don't say it's fact. To spout that I'm a known child abuser and a known sex offender is wrong, and it's dangerous, and it could have devastating consequences for my family. Devastating. It is absolutely ridiculous the lengths that you go into because you've believed what you've been fed. Now, she might just be the face of it, and there could be another person who's even more vulnerable and has believed this absolute ridiculous nonsense that's been going on, who I don't even know about, who is able to find me, who is able to cause the need for me to have stitches, which I'm not bothered about that. I'm bothered about being safe within my own home and safeguarding vulnerable children from predators. and absolute idiots within the app. So that's that said. What's next? What did I want to address next? Oh yes, to my vulnerable gifters. Listen, I see you going in other people's lives and blasting a full month's wages. I'm with you. I've done it. It feels good to make someone else smile and feel happy. I had to confess to Maz this month that I spent nigh on £300 on the app, gifting people because I wanted to see them smile, because I wanted to make them feel a bit better about the day. And it was just ridiculous. It got out of hand and it's easily done. But you know my motto, your family is first. Put your family first. Put their needs first. And don't do it. Like, don't do it. I've banned myself from topping up now. I won't be doing it again. Obviously, I will be gifting those close to us, those who I care about, but I won't be gifting to that extent anymore. Because I do need to put my family first. Business is slow at the minute, I'm not going to lie, because my health is deteriorating. I've had 3 falls in the last 48 hours, well, the last 24 hours, to be fair. But that doesn't mean that I can't stand up and fight a good fight when I need to. And you'll know why I'm saying that if you know what's been said. I am more than able to defend myself. My mobile number has got a priority on it for 999 calls. There's CCTV around my property. I'm continuously filming wherever I am, or voice recording, and I am safe and protected. And I know that for all the police may have failed us by disclosing certain things, they can't fail me in a situation where they needed to respond immediately. Yeah, so don't gift what you can't afford. And don't feel like you've got to spend. Christmas is coming, guys, alright? Christmas is coming. So every time you feel like you want to gift someone or top up again, just check yourself and be like, could I use that £5 to spend on X or Y for Christmas? And do that instead. Right, to end on a good... Fucking alarm. To end on a good, because I just want to make this short and sweet. I just want to get out what I had to get out, and I feel better for it. So I think a vlog might be a regular thing. Obviously the podcast. So the positives. My feisty family. Obviously, some of you know who I am off the app. And some of you don't. And the ones that don't know who I am off the app, it's nothing personal, but it's just the type of content that I do and the people that I go after. I've got to safeguard myself and the kids, and that's why. There's a fair few of you who do know who I am, where I live in the country. A handful know my address. A handful have got my number. So I'm not hiding anything per se from people, but I am safeguarding myself and my children from some very dangerous people. So firstly, I want to thank you to the ones that love us, all others, and haven't passed over my information to the people that are sat slandering us at the moment. I really appreciate that. Even to my enemies who don't like us, who haven't done it. I know you've not done it because you know who I am and what I stand for deep down inside. And if we've ever had a problem, I've always been fairly fair with you. And I appreciate it, because it's not me that I'm trying to protect you. It's my kids, your kids, and your family's kids. Do you know what I mean? I'm not doing it for clout. I'm not doing it for attention or gifts or stuff like that, because I very much discourage people from gifting. If anything, I've spent a hell of a lot more money than what I've earned from any online platform. And that's because I enjoy doing it. Sometimes I felt pressure to do it, and I don't want anyone to ever feel like they've got to do anything for me in return. I've built a community of fabulous, fabulous people who are there for each other and building strong friendships and friendship groups within the association of just being in my lives or commenting on my videos. And for me, that is absolutely phenomenal. To see the friendships develop and blossom is just out of this world. Like, it really, really melts my heart. So thank you to everyone that's just been there for each other, but mainly for the ones, you know, who've been there with the kind messages, the kind comments, the liking and sharing, the spreading awareness, the defending us without even letting us know like what's going on, but passing that information over to the powers that be, or people close to us who can pass it over to the powers that be. I really, really appreciate it, and it's kept us sane. Like, I'm not going to lie, it's been really, really tough. It has been really, really tough going through what I'm facing at the moment. Today's the first real day where I've got my anxiety under control since I contacted the police on the 9th of September, and today's the 27th of September. So it's been nearly 20 days of feeling uncontrollably threatened and scared. And without you guys propping us up and supporting us, I wouldn't have got through that. Like, I wouldn't have. I would have been a mess. But then I wouldn't have been in that position, some might say. It is what it is, and I do what I do, and I'm not going to stop trying to safeguard online activity for my young grown family and your families. It's something that I've always been passionate about, is safeguarding people, both children and adults, from predators and dangers within the online community. I've dedicated my whole adult life to caring for vulnerable children and adults, and this is just a new branch of how I am moving forward as my health deteriorates. So I'm just going to leave these here. If you've made it this far, then you'll be able to see what's about to happen. Just have a read of what's said and then watch the video that's coming. So who's a hypocrite?
Right, I just want to say that what Jade did last night was really brave of her, really, because she wanted to own up to what she's done, and all she got was loads of criticism. Do you know that would have taken so much for her to do? And obviously she's been to prison for what she did. She doesn't need ridiculing now. She's trying to get on with her life. Okay, she's made a mistake. Okay, it was a very big mistake, right? Strangling someone and leaving them for dead. But have you never done anything wrong in your lives? Just look into your own lives and just think, have you done anything wrong? Okay, you maybe not have done anything to that scale. But surely, if you were forgiven for what you did, can she not redeem herself back into society? I'm sure she can. Give her that chance.